Is LPT Realty good for teams? And that question is coming a lot from all different angles, whether you're an established team, somebody who's just building a team, or an individual agent thinking about joining a team. That's a really important question. We are going to jump into that topic right now. In the next clip, you're actually going to hear not just from me, but from the CEO and founder, Robert Palmer, all about teams. He's going to be talking about a team specifically that just made the move over and how it impacted the team leader and the agents on the teams, and why we designed LPT the way that we did to make sure that teams and the agents on the teams are fully supported. So let's jump right into that clip.
Andrew runs an amazing business, one of the top Remax teams in the country before he came over to LPT. And again, we've talked a lot, obviously, since his transition. He's seen his team growth just go nuclear. He had been recruiting for a long time to his team under the Remax flag, and then all of a sudden he flips over to LPT. He has the new benefits, the listing power tools, all the different opportunities we provide here for growth and individual agent growth. And he said that his recruiting efforts have doubled and tripled when it comes to adding agents to his team. And then we've also seen a lot of LPT agents joining other teams. That's an important part of the model for me. If you look at these other models, because the team members get a lower cap or a special comp plan, the brokerage is not necessarily, like, their interests aren't aligned. You'll see market centers or brokerages where, the brokerage doesn't want people to join teams because they don't want to see the company dollar go down, because a solo agent pays a higher cap and a team member pays a lower cap. And, we're one of the first brokerages to ever align our interests to say, you know what, we want agents to be successful. Again, how they individually define success, if that's as a solo agent, if that's as a team member. And I don't think, if you're on a team and you leave that team, that your company cap should go up dramatically. And on the flip side, it's like, I don't think just because you join a team, it doesn't make our job that much easier when it comes to checking your files and getting you paid and providing you with support and tools. So I think just by aligning everyone's interest to say, you know what, we're going to provide the same opportunity for agents, whether they're on the team or not. And then if they want to join a team so they can pick up those extra team benefits, it's not going to change their relationship with the brokerage. And the alignment of our goals with the team members' goals, which then ultimately aligns with our agents' goals. This is how you win as a company. And again, real estate just traditionally has been such a broken industry, where these types of mismatches of alignment, these types of mismatches of interests have caused, a toxicity at scale that it's very critical and very important to me that we don't see happen here at LPT Realty. And, I studied this industry for a long time, looking at where I felt like the holes were, where I felt like those little decisions like that to say, oh, you know what, we're going to treat people differently. If your team is this big, then your agents will get one cap. And if your team is this big, your agents get a different cap. And if you're not on a team, you have a different cap. And it's like, those aren't the agent's choice. The agent's not deciding how big the team leader wants to get. So why are they being impacted? And so at the end of the day, by moving the choice, the individual choice, back to each agent here at LPT decides which comp plan they want to be on, which they can have as a solo agent or a team member. Each agent here at LPT decides, do they want to go join a team? Do they want to be a solo agent? Do they want to form a team? Do they want to merge teams together? We've seen so much exciting activity that is all driven by this core belief and core commitment to agent choice, which just does not exist anywhere else in this industry. And it's so counterintuitive because we are an industry of entrepreneurs. We are an industry of self-starters. We are an industry, you very much have to go figure it out on your own. We can help provide some tools and things, but at the end of the day, to be a successful realtor, you have to be a self-starter. You have to have that entrepreneurial spirit. So then for brokerages to come along over the top of that and say, oh, we think you're a great entrepreneur. We don't think you're smart enough to pick your own comp plan, or we think if we give you choices, you're going to confuse yourself. It's just so counterintuitive. And so a big part of why we are winning, a big part of why we are growing, a big part of why the cultural foundation we are laying is so strong is founded in this idea of agent choice. And that's what Andrew's talking about in his video. He was attracted here by the idea of agent choice. If an agent's choice is they've been on his team for a long time and they've been successful and now they want to go start their own team, he wants to be in an ecosystem where everybody can still win together. Again, that all comes back down to agent choice and not trying to force a definition of success on our agents, but letting them define success individually.
Yeah, man, very, very well said, man. And so excited to see that. I'm excited for new teams as they continue to come to LPT and that unlocking that they receive here as they have, different ways to be successful and different ways to empower their agents and grow. So super excited to see that. I want to real quickly talk about Grand Prix, our second annual conference. We are about 45 days away. And of course, there are always new people joining Motivational Monday. So if you don't know what we're talking about, check out the knowledge base. Just type in conference and you'll see all the information about it. It is going to be in St. Pete this year on March 5th and 6th. But Robert, I know that last year, again, we were, unveiling a lot of new tools and marketing. And this year, your focus is somewhat shifted. And while there still be some things that are announced for new tools and things, what's the major focus and how should people be thinking about Grand Prix this year?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, this year really it's about this idea of culture and community. This is a chance for us to all come together. When you look at Grand Prix, last year we had just launched a couple of new states, but we were still 90% Florida agents, where now we are much more spread around the country. We're in a lot of new states. And so this is a great opportunity for us all to get together and build this community and continue to make new connections. And a lot of the new things we do unveil at Grand Prix are going to be around this idea of strengthening the community, strengthening the digital community. How do we help create those digital connections that between our agents that can then turn into real world connections, real world friendships, or maybe some stay purely digital friendships. This is something we're very focused on. We have the scale now as a community. If you look back, and this is one of the things we can't really rush. If you're a brokerage of 500 agents or 1,000 agents, it's very difficult to build that type of online or national community because you just don't have enough scale. There's not enough different intersections for people to find each other and to find that common ground and to build those connections. And now as we race to 10,000 agents, which is I think what we're going to officially name the conference this year. I've been playing around with that, but we are on this race to 10,000 agents. The Grand Prix event in March is a big part of that. So as we are now racing to 10,000 agents, that is a big community, and there's a lot of opportunity for people to find each other and make those connections. And so we are now very focused on providing the events and the technology and the opportunities and the discovery to find each other. If you look at other models, a lot of that discovery is really limited to, well, who's your sponsor? Who's your downline? Who's your upline? This is how other companies have tried to define community, and they're proving at scale that it doesn't work. That this siloed, kind of scarcity mentality starts to break down as you get too much scale. And we are the solution to that. We're not going to have that same result. We're not going to have the same type of breakdown other companies do as we scale. And so it's really important that we help create ways for those connections to live outside of who you maybe knew when you got here, or who you were connected to at your last brokerage. The key thing here is to create the systems and technology and events and opportunities for agents to discover each other based on similar interests, based on similar geography, based on similar business goals, whatever those things are. And so this is going to be a big part of the theme as we go into Grand Prix. We're not going to launch a lot of new technology and things like we did last year. We'll just kind of pace those out throughout the year. I really want us to stay highly focused on this next phase of LPT as we get to that finish line on the race to 10,000 agents. How do we now strengthen and build those connections and build the community that we're all proud of? Because again, we have so many folks now that are willing to share information, willing to share and teach classes, and willing to share their wins and their losses along the way. That's kind of a burden that you and I took, Matt, in the beginning. Because again, when there were only a couple hundred agents, it really fell on us to come here every Monday and me to share my successes and you to share yours and share failures and share ideas. And we host Real Estate First Friday every single week. Again, providing that type of knowledge and education. But now as we get to this race to 10,000 agents, not that we're going to stop, we'll continue to do Real Estate First Friday. We'll continue to do Motivation Monday. But what you're going to see is a massive amount of additional content and additional learning opportunities and additional social opportunities all being created by our agents, because we have the scale now to do that. 100 agent brokerage doesn't have that. As we race to 10,000 agents, we will have that. And we're really, really focused on embracing that so that you'll have lots of choices every week. Hey, I'm going to make sure I catch Robert on Motivation Monday, and I'm going to catch this great solo agent that I follow out of, South Florida who's doing luxury. And I'm going to follow this amazing team leader, out of the Midwest who's built an amazing team. And every time they're teaching a class, I want to get an alert, or I want to see that on my personal calendar because I want to be able to plug into that. That's really the ecosystem that we are moving toward. And again, it's funny because I know for me and for a lot of us, it feels like we've been here forever. We're a less than 2-year-old company, and the fact that we have raced to 10,000 agents and we're going to cross that finish line here, in the next couple of months, it is amazing how much we've accomplished in such a short period of time. But at the same time too, we haven't had decades, as other brokerages did by the time they got to our size, to create some of these things behind the scenes. Now, I think there's a massive advantage to us because we're going to build it right the first time for scale, where a lot of companies weren't able to do that because their vision wasn't big enough. We have the big vision. We are going to build something that can go to massive scale and create those connections.
So there you have it, right from the CEO and founder's mouth, that teams are a big part of the plan, and it's actually what helped us shape the structure. And you can see all the benefits from brand new agent joining a team all the way up to the team leader on why they get a ton of value out of that. So I know you might have some questions. Make sure that you check out the links in the description below. You can book one-on-one time with me. You can get all the information you need on a one-pager from LPT. And also make sure that you like and subscribe and click that little bell so you get notified anytime we're putting out really great content about how to grow your real estate business and all things LPT. Happy selling.